Ted Wheeler has now been trending on Twitter. Always interesting when Ted Wheeler is trending on Twitter. He's trending on Twitter, and this time, I always click with some trepidation when Ted Wheeler
What do you know?
Right. And in this case, I was actually quite surprised and relieved to find that, in effect, what he has finally said, and as you pointed out in a conversation earlier, it's not the first time he said something like this, but he has said it and then reneged on it. And in this case, maybe he's finally grown aware. But what he's effectively said is that Portland has a serious problem with anarchists, that these are lawbreakers who must be arrested. And that is something that he has been very, very timid about. And so he has extended a state of emergency through the weekend, and he has instructed the police. And I should point out that it is.
Are we going to show the videos, or?
Yeah, I think we should. I think we should show the videos. I should point out that in Portland, we have the odd fact of our mayor also being our police commissioner, which means that what he says about what the police should do carries more weight than it might in some other city. So, all right, Zach, do you want to show the first?
They're not the same video. They're two different videos. Do you want to show both of them, or do you want just the?
Well, why not the one that you sent, Zach?
Okay, so so hold on just a second, Zach. Then, in a slightly longer video from Coin 6, which is a local CBS affiliate. I think it's CBS. Is CBS the one with the eye?
Yes.
I went to their site. I was like, I think this is CBS's logo. There's nothing on the site that says CBS anywhere. Like, they just assume we know that crazy, scary looking eye is CBS. Anyway, it's different topic. But one of the newscasters says, with regard to Antifas or the anarchists, I'm not even sure who now is claiming to be doing these things. They keep on making these announcements in advance. They're going to do these direct actions, right? And so the newscaster says, in the past, events billed as direct action have ended with violence and destruction. So that's now showing up on the news.
Yep.
That is now showing up in the news, finally. And now we have this shorter video, Zach, the 1 minute, 4 second one or so.
And I've extended the state of emergency through the weekend. Our job is to unmask them, arrest them, and prosecute them. I want to personally thank neighbors, family, friends, and others who've come forward with vital evidence. People know who these criminals are. They know what they're up to. If you have any information, please contact the police. Acting Chief Davis will provide specifics shortly. I also want you to know that these people often arrive at their so-called direct actions in cars, and they're all dressed in all black. If you see this, call the police. If you can provide a license plate, if you can do so safely, that information can help later. Together, we can make a stand. We're doing what we can today. I'm also asking for your help to make a stand and take our city back. Thank you.
Okay. So let's, first of all, I just want to address the elephant in the room, as it were. Actually, that may turn out to be a better metaphor in this case than I had anticipated. But
You sure it's not a donkey?
It is the elephant in the room in this case. So I do not know whether or not we are having an impact on, for example, Ted Wheeler's understanding of what's going on. I do know that this week I had a piece in Unheard, which is a British publication, on what's going on in Portland and of the absurd fact of local businesses putting signage in their window, which you have called "Don't Hurt Me" walls, that appear to attempt to usher vandals on to harm someone else, right? An obvious game theoretic hazard of the civilian authority, not only taking no stand, but hobbling the police in the enforcement of the law. I do think that there is a strong chance. We are constantly facing calls that we, admit that the conservatives are right, that we acknowledge that we are conservatives or something like this. And I think this, we've never done this because we're not conservatives. And while the conservatives are in many cases defending principles that are traditionally liberal, in this case, where liberals have abandoned them, the fact of those principles having been innovated by liberals is an important part of the story. In any case, I just want to say, we don't know whether we're having an effect, but I think it is very important and likely to be having an effect that people who are local to Portland, who are not interested in mocking it as a terrible place, and people who are not interested in mocking liberalism itself, are saying, hey, actually, this is an untenable situation. And that the fact is, the violence itself has adjusted what people acknowledge. You and I meet people all the time who say very standard things about their belief until we say non-standard things, at which point we get confessions about what they actually think, right?
Here in Portland, yeah.
Here in Portland. And so no doubt Mayor Wheeler is getting some of the same...
And many people show up in our email and comments and such as well from Portland.
Right.
Saying thank you for saying things that sound like the conversation's happening within my home.
And so the mayor is surely not getting a proper representation of what the citizens of his city actually believe and want, because everybody is so busy saying things designed to get the mob to move on to someone else that you get the wrong idea. You get the idea that Portland is much more supportive of the violence than it actually is. And so what I am hoping is that the ability that our position as unapologetic liberals who believe that coddling these violent anarchists is a terrible, terrible mistake, and say so repeatedly, that is actually finally getting through, and that in part what may have happened here is that the mayor may be realizing that there is more support for him doing the right thing than he has understood. And while I'm very angry at all of the violence that has happened up till now, if he has finally understood this and he's going to stick to enforcing the law equally against all lawbreakers, then, thank goodness. And maybe we've hit bottom.
Yeah, well, it's always a dangerous thing to imagine.